Last week's Small Steps video was about nutritional facts. And on it we talked about macronutrients, but I didn't really go into detail about it. This week we're going to talk about macronutrients, what they come from, and exactly what they do for you. What are macronutrients? Where do they come from? Macronutrients are carbohydrates, protein, fat, and also alcohol. We'll go into those just a little bit in this, but just so you know, there are other macronutrients as well. The ones I just mentioned just happen to be the ones that provide us with energy. Water can also be considered a macronutrient. We also need something called micronutrients. Those are going to make up vitamins and minerals and other small things from our food resources. But we don't talk about those much because usually we get them from our normal diet. As long as you're eating a healthy diet, you can expect to get those from your food. We also don't need micronutrients in large abundance. There's only a small amount of micronutrients needed to keep us going. However, macronutrients not only provide energy for us, they provide much more to us as well. Despite what we've been told, carbs only provide us with energy. They don't really provide us with much more. They don't actually contribute to our overall health. They're just keeping us energetic. They and alcohol are very large bioavailable energy. You might argue that fiber is a very important thing for gut health and for digestion. But other than that, carbs aren't really providing much more for us. Fats and proteins are necessary in our diet to produce energy, help with enzymes, hormones, muscle and tissue repair. There's a list of other things, and they even help with gathering micronutrients from your diet. Carbs can be found in vegetables, beans, legumes, fruit, lots of those types of things. And carbs are also refined sugars. Fats and proteins can be found in meats, mostly, but they can also be found in small abundance in vegetables, some nuts and things like that. Let's not forget cheese. It's pretty high in fat and protein. Many diets talk about eating at a caloric deficit. That means that you're cutting your calories to actually lose weight. But what does that mean as far as macronutrients are concerned? Do macronutrients mean something different if you're cutting calories? They actually do a lot, because proteins, fats, and carbs are all different amounts in calories. Proteins and carbs are about 4 calories per gram of whatever the product is. So if you had about a gram of meat, you'd know exactly how many calories you're going to get from it. But what does that mean about fat? Fat is exactly 9 calories per gram of fat. So what that might mean to you is that because it's more calorie rich, you might want to cut back on your fats. But that's not really the case. The thing about fats is, fats also increase your satiation. What exactly does satiation mean? It means that you're not hungry anymore. So it takes a lot less fat to make you feel like you're full. Whereas if you continue to eat carbs, and I'm giving sugary foods as an example here, I can down a pumpkin pie myself, and I mean the whole thing, and I don't really feel full from it. However, if you gave me about a pound of fat, it wouldn't take me long to feel full. As a matter of fact, I could probably feel full on just a few grams of it sometimes. Feeling like you're not hungry is a very important part, especially if you're trying to cut calories. So I don't suggest eating high carbs for a meal that you're trying to cut calories on. Now, something I haven't really talked about much, I did mention it earlier, was fiber. Fiber is considered a carb, but the way that it's absorbed into the body, or the way that it's not actually, it doesn't get absorbed during your digestion process. And because it doesn't get digested, that means that it just kind of passes through your system. So typically when people are cutting calories, they look at the nutritional facts, they see dietary fiber on there, and they subtract that from the other carbs. When you subtract it, you get something called net carbs. That's the number that you want to count as your digested carbs. Now, I said that carbs don't really provide much fullness. However, fiber does. Fiber can make you feel a little bit fuller. Because of that, it might be a good idea to get fiber in your diet. I'd like to say that there's more benefit to eating carbs. However, other than being a big bonus in energy, you're not really getting much from them. And they're one of the first things that if you don't use that energy expenditure, go directly into fat. Carbs, especially refined sugars, cause you to eat a lot more to feel full. And because of that, that means you end up eating more calories than you intended to. If your body is not sending that response saying, hey, I'm full, you're just going to keep eating. If you are going to eat carbs in your diet, I suggest choosing the ones that are really high in vitamins and possibly even fiber. The ones that add fiber and vitamins are going to be a lot better for your health in the long run. With that being said, some of the ones that we don't really want in our diet are starches and sugars, especially refined sugars. Although we've been told fruits time and time again are good for us, they're really high in sugars, and they only really provide us with a minimal amount of vitamins in our diet. The potassium that you get from a banana is nowhere near what you can get from meat. And you'd have to eat a whole lot of bananas to even get roughly a small amount of potassium. However, you're going to get a whole bunch of carbs in that process. Carbs are the sugars, and the sugars are going to lead to fat. So really, you want to cut back on eating as much fruits as you can. I'm not saying that it's not okay to have them every once in a while, just that if it's not providing you that much bonus, there's not really any reason to be stuffing it in your face. I know we've not talked much about alcohol, and unfortunately, because it doesn't provide much benefit to yourself, there's not really a reason to drink much alcohol. I'm not saying that you can't go out with your friends and have carbs and alcohol every once in a while. I will tell you that on Thanksgiving, you will be having troubles trying to rip the pumpkin pie away from me. However, those things aren't something we need to be consuming very often. High carbs and high alcohol, they're not really providing much benefit to us. Choose your foods wisely, and I think you'll be healthier because of it. I think that's all for this video. There's probably some things that I missed in this video about macronutrients, but I just wanted to kind of summarize it a little bit because we're definitely going to be talking about it a lot more. Tell us what you think below. What do you think about macronutrients? Do you think carbs are something you're going to keep in your diet in a high amount? Micronutrients are still an important thing in your diet. I'm not trying to tell you not to eat vegetables and fruits because of that. I'm saying that you need to find the ones that have what you need in them, or you're just really wasting your time and effort. If you're eating just to eat, it's probably not going to do well for your health. Hey, don't forget to subscribe. Maybe you can share the video with your friends and relatives. Maybe they need to know about macronutrients as well. Are legumes the same as nuts?